Hi, and welcome back to Gifts of Intuition. I'm Melissa, and I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you again for coming back. Okay, so today we are going to be continuing on our topic of motherhood, um, specifically the experience of being overstimulated as a mom. But before I go into that, I do want to begin by saying that after this video, I'm going to shift gears a bit and start going into some other women's issues other than motherhood specifically. Um, that is because I do intend this channel to be mental health in the divine feminine, and that encompasses so much more than just motherhood. There's so much more to being a woman than being a mom. But that's just where I decided to start with this channel. So we're going to switch gears after this. So if you're not a mom or that's not something you're looking to become for whatever reason, I just want you to know, please keep coming back. Check out my channel. Check out some of my future topics that I've got in the works here. And of course, if you are a mom, keep coming back because it all applies to you too. So, okay, so here we go. We are going to be looking at overstimulation. So I want to start with asking you, sometimes or many times, does it feel like everything is just too much? Too much noise, too much touching, too many questions, that constant needing you, um, too much to where you just feel irritated and overwhelmed, or like you want to just kind of disappear. You don't want anybody asking you a question. You don't want anybody asking you for help. You don't want anybody needing your help. You don't want anybody needing anything from you. You just want to escape for a while. Well, this one's for you. Okay, so if you're wondering why do I feel overstimulated all the time, I want you to consider that you're not doing anything wrong. This is a very normal and natural experience, human experience, not just mother experience. Um, but the reason I decided to talk about this from a mother's standpoint is because being a mom invites a lot of opportunity for overstimulation. So what we're going to be talking about in here is what happens with your nervous system as it receives more sensory and emotional and cognitive input than it's comfortable processing. And with motherhood, it's kind of the perfect storm for this because there's that constant noise, um, talking and crying, toys making their noises, or screens in the background, children screaming, whatever it is. There's physical touch, being climbed on and held. As I mentioned before, about having clingy babies, maybe, or if you're breastfeeding, or you've also got a partner who misses you and wants to be close and on you. These are all good things, but we need to acknowledge that sometimes it's just too much. Then there's also the visual clutter, which can be a constant reminder that you're not doing enough. If there's things that need to be cleaned up or put away or whatever, um, it just adds to that mental load that we talked about in the last episode of like, it's not only about needing to clean that stuff up, but it's about the constant reminder that it needs to be cleaned up or someone needs to put that away. Someone needs to, and it's, likely to fall back here. And then the emotional demands, your kids' needs, your partner's needs, your family members' needs, your own needs, your friends' needs, and then just that mental tracking of it all. keeping it all organized, making sure everything gets done and met the way it needs to be done. This leads to your brain feeling flooded. There's just too much information coming in. It is sensory overload. And when you get flooded, you go into survival mode. And so, what survival mode looks like, and you may have heard these terms before, but what it looks like is you go into fight, flight, or freeze. And so, with fight, how that can show up is being irritable, snapping at people, just being angry in general, um, just not a version of yourself that even you want to be around at that point. And then flight can be this restless, anxious energy, this urgency, this sense of, I just want to get out of here. I'm crawling out of my skin, get me away from these people. And then freeze, what that looks like is shutdown or numbness and dissociation, detachment, zoning out. So, like, if even if you can't physically leave a situation, your brain is kind of like, I'm out of here. And then you're just kind of like, uh, what do I do? It's too much. So, if you've experienced any of that, there's a good chance you are overstimulated, too much, too much sensory input, and not enough regulation happening. So, if you've ever snapped over something seemingly small, and maybe even had the hindsight kind of look back and go, I cannot believe I just yelled at my kid. Um, Felt instantly overwhelmed by noise, like you just it's like you're a raw nerve, and just every little thing is just like too much. You just like need people to stop talking. Everyone just stop talking, stop making noise, don't even look at me. And you just ever want to like hide away. um I think a lot of us moms have found areas in our home where we can just kind of get a moment of silence. So whether that's going and locking yourself in the bathroom for a little bit, or um, going into your closet and sitting on the floor and shutting off the lights and just kind of like detaching. It's very common to need to do that sometimes. Um, and that is not a sign that you're a bad mom. It's a sign that your nervous system is hitting its capacity, and it's like begging, begging for relief. It needs a break. And so moms are so vulnerable to this kind of overstimulation, primarily because of a constant accessibility to us. We're never really off duty as moms. If you have a job outside of the home, you're on duty in that role. And then you come home and you're still on duty, but in this role. And sometimes that drive home from work, if you work outside the home, can be like such a gift in the day because it's the one time where you're just kind of like not responsible. Well, you're responsible for driving, but not for anyone in that moment. Um, but if you're a stay-at-home mom and your kids are at home with you, and if you are, my hat is off to you. I've known that I've never been cut out to be a stay-at-home mom. I just that is too much sensory overload for me to be constantly needed by a child all day long. I've never been cut out for that, and I knew that going into it. So again, good on you if that's the route you take, and that works for you. But yeah, you're looking at all day of routines and structure and keeping them entertained and keeping them fed and keeping them, I don't know, alive. It's a lot. And then you're being frequently touched without consent. Honestly, they're just grabbing at you, um, and emotionally responsible for them. So, their emotional needs are being met. Maybe they're getting overstimulated and you have to regulate. So then you co-regulate together. If you can do that, that's great. If you have more than one kid though, you're you're making sure everybody's okay and everybody's as happy as can be, and putting out little fires all day long. Um, and being interrupted constantly. If you're a mom who's ever just had to go pee for a moment, you know what I'm talking about. They're right there at the door with you. They want to show you stuff while you're just trying to go to the bathroom. And so your brain just never really powers down. It never gets that recharge moment that it needs, even when it's quiet. You're just a lot of times anticipating the needs. So when things do seem a little more calm or good, your brain can then kind of go into, all right, well, what should I be worrying about? What do I need to be worrying about? Maybe the bottom's just going to drop out at any moment, or why is it so quiet in here? Is somebody getting into trouble? you know, it's our brain is just programmed in motherhood, especially, to just constantly be anticipating the next thing that we're going to have to address. And so, um, add into all of that stimulation during the day, any other experiences that you're having, like lack of sleep, especially if you have a baby who doesn't sleep through the night, hormonal shifts. Again, postpartum, your hormones are shifting when you deliver your baby. And then when you start breastfeeding, if you do breastfeed, and then when your period comes back again, and then maybe when you stop breastfeeding, um, and then as your period's starting to regulate itself again, it is a constant flux of hormones in the postpartum period, in addition to all this other stuff that I'm talking about. So just keeping in mind that experience is making all this other stuff just that much harder to deal with. So you're dysregulated internally and externally. And then that mental load that we talked about in the last video, um, just that anticipation of everything else, that constant reminder that even if I'm not doing something right now, I should be doing it, or I'm going to need to do it eventually, or somebody's going to need to do it. So just like managing the household, managing everyone in it. And your nervous system is just begging for some time to reset. And so, with all that being said, that constant output that I'm talking about, what do we do with that? And so, from the lens of the divine feminine, I want to look at this overstimulation as is not a flaw or a deficiency. It's more of a lack of spaciousness in your life. So the feminine thrives in cycles and rest and silence and slowness. So we need to feel regulated. We need on and off. We need light and dark. We need that communication to our brain that it's time to be active and it's time to rest. And when we don't have that communication or that opportunity, we're just on some level. And there's no room to receive what we need, um, because of the constant output and the constant availability to others, that constant responsiveness and responsibility. It's it's too much to even think of taking on more. But if we can look at it as not taking on more, but receiving what we need, that's kind of the direction that I'm hoping to help you go in today. So when there's space to receive, then our system becomes less overwhelmed. So, what that looks like is less dysfunction, less feeling of dysfunction, um, and recognizing that it's really just your body and your nervous system seeking balance. So, what we can do to help get some of that balance is creating space. And just as I said in other videos, when I give these little tips, don't try to take them all on. Don't do them perfectly. Try one, try two, take what you want, leave the rest. But just know these are ideas of things that you can try. And so here we go. So the first one is create micro moments of sensory relief. So even if just for a few minutes of quiet, I want you to try and find darkness or silence to allow your nervous system to reset. So, like I said before, going into the bathroom, just resetting. Turn off the lights if you have to, or go into a dark closet, sit on the floor and just reset, breathe, ground yourself. That can be very helpful for just kind of needing to press on from a place of recentered. And then second one is reduce input where you can. So lowering the background noise, turning off TV screens, just any kind of noise, and simplifying that visual clutter. This is not me telling you go clean your house and you'll feel better. No, this is me saying like do what you can to reduce that visual image of chaos. So even if that means shoving everything into a closet or bins or under the bed, whatever you got to do to just kind of like make your space look a little more calming, but also I don't know if this is the right word, but like the space is less demanding of you, if that makes sense. Because when I think of like a cluttered space, I feel like everything in the room is just demanding my attention. So if I do try to relax, it's like you shouldn't be relaxing right now. You should be putting me away. You should be cleaning me. It's like the room is just start like it's like it's all yelling at me to get to it. So if you just kind of do a fake clean, a fake tidying up even of some sort, um, that could help just reduce that feeling of overstimulation. And then set boundaries about touch. It is okay to say, I need a minute without being touched. So, whether that's somebody else taking on your child or um, telling your partner, I've been touched all day. I need to not be touched by you. That needs to be okay. Um, and, you know, finding finding opportunities to step away because I know some mamas have really clingy babies and it can be really hard. So it may be a matter of handing baby over to another caregiver so that you can leave. Because I know several moms who, if they're even in the house, baby wants to be, they're the preferred caregiver, they're the preferred person, which is lovely, but it doesn't invite a break. So then the other one would be use some grounding techniques. So some that I like would be cold water on your hands or face, stepping outside and literally touch grass. Um, take your shoes off, go barefoot in the grass, um, and get fresh air and sunshine on your skin. Just go connect with nature, even in the smallest ways that can help. Breathing techniques, if you have any breathing techniques that you like. Um, I like the box breathing. And so, what that is you visualize a box as you breathe. And so what that would be is um, breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold, breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. Keep doing that as you visualize a box. Um, Now, some people have set times to that, like a count of four, a count of four, a count of four, as you do the box. Or you can also just do it to what feels natural. Because sometimes if you try to hold too long or push too much to get a certain number, that can also exacerbate anxiety. So just what feels natural and like a healthy, normal breath. Try whatever works for you. And then build in intentional off duty time. So on the small end, what that looks like is, babysitters, other caregivers stepping in so that you can, step out, go run errands, go do something just by yourself. And then on the bigger end, that can be um, leaving for a night, going to a hotel, uh, just because you need a good night's rest. Of course, the kids are with somebody who you trust, whatever. But like maybe you need a night away. You need to be able to get that good night's sleep, sleep in, get room service, know that the cleaning staff has everything handled. So like there's no one needing you to make food, clean, or do anything in particular. You may just need like a night of that. And that's okay. I want you to hear that that's okay. Sometimes we just need to do that for ourselves. Um, so again, just going over these, create micro moments of sensory relief, reduce input where you can, set boundaries around touch, use grounding techniques, and build in intentional off duty time. Again, I'm not saying try all of those. I'm not even saying all of those are going to work for everybody. Try one and see if it helps. If it doesn't, try another one. And if it does, great. Do more of that as your life permits. Um, And then I want to also have you sit with this question while we're together here, really just checking in and asking yourself, what is my nervous system trying to tell me right now? Is there a need? And if so, is it space? Is it silence? Is it support or rest? What is my nervous system saying it needs from me? And allow yourself to be okay with whatever that answer is. Maybe even say all that out loud, or get out your journal and write that question and just do some automatic writing and see what answers come to you. And then allow that to help you decide maybe which one of those tips that I offered sounds the most helpful for where you're at right now. Um, yeah, so try any of those. And what this is giving you the opportunity to create space to receive the help and support either from others or from yourself that you've been neglecting or have been overlooking because you just didn't feel like there's enough time to stop and notice. But your nervous system notices and it catches up with you. So we want to be sure to tap in and connect. So if this resonated with you, I want you to hear this clearly from me. You are not too sensitive. You are not failing. You are not broken. You are a human with a human nervous system in an environment that asks a lot of you. And it makes sense that you would feel this way, given everything I just went over. So if you feel comfortable sharing, I would love to hear back from you guys. If you want to put in the comments what areas or what is overstimulating you right now. Um, I'd also love to hear from you guys what you do to help self regulate. What helps you sort of come back to a sense of balance or equilibrium when you feel like it's just too much? And then, if you are interested in more conversations like this, where we bridge mental health with the divine feminine, please, please, please like this video, subscribe to it, turn on the little notification bell so that you can see as I put out more videos of this type of topic. Um, Again, as I said earlier, um, we're going to be going into other areas of women's issues, not specific to motherhood. So I really do want to be sure to connect with a broad audience of women, not just mothers. Of course, mothers can benefit from all that too, like I said. But um, I'd love to hear back from you guys if there's more that you particularly would like to hear about or get some tips. Okay. You have a wonderful, well, it's Sunday for me, so I'm going to say have a wonderful rest of your weekend and week ahead. And I will see you guys in the next, well, I won't see you, but you'll see me in the next video. So thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And yeah, I invite you to come back. Take care.